Uh, What's up, Power Warriors? Today is Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the Virtual Solar Pro, and I am alongside my man, Jonathan Branasso. Real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with your fellow solarpreneurs, helps the algorithm and gets the information out there. What's up, bro? How you doing, dude?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, ladies. Good afternoon. Don't forget Tom Cotter's in the house, and so many amazing leaders out there as well. And you know what? Aloha, because in a week or so, I'm flying to Hawaii to help launch that market, maybe with one or two of you. And I'm excited to launch Hawaii and head out there in a week or so.
Yeah, that's exciting. I was actually invited by Melissa Dawson. She shot me a text, said, "Hey, would you like to fly out to Hawaii for me, or with me, for the expansion and the launch?" And unfortunately, I'm going to be in Puerto Vallarta during that time, living.
God, what a challenge, Jarrett. Man,
Yeah, I'm going to suffer out there, take one for the team.
close a deal virtually, make thousands of dollars, get some sun. It sounds rough.
All while sitting in a pool, hanging out with iguanas, sipping drinks until I don't remember what I sold to the customer. Just joking. But no, it's going to be great times. Looking forward to the launch in Hawaii. That's crazy opportunity for everyone out there. If you haven't already, you should be making connections with your contacts out there and prepping for this launch. And that was a PSA for Bobby Smith, because if we didn't mention that, he would jump all over us for that. So, hey, we're going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to start off with my man, Tom Cotter, with a little power perspective. Tom, do you have a beautiful, loving quote that's going to resonate with us for the rest of the week?
I've got a thought for you. Good morning, Jarrett and Jonathan. Thank you for the intro and welcome there. I want to speak to the people with shiny object syndrome. Anyone have shiny object syndrome? You're always looking for the next best thing. You can put a 1 in the chat if that is you. It's me also. So today I'm doing a little bit of preaching to myself. I get questions all the time, and I'm sure that other leaders, not just in power, but across the whole solar industry, get questions from new or newer solar salespeople, consultants, looking for, like, what's the secret sauce? What's this magic thing that's out there? Whether it's a magic enchanted door-to-door script, whether it's some new tool or software, or something new that we're always looking for the latest, greatest thing. And I want to challenge you with 2 words. The first one is more, and the second one is better. So instead of looking for what's new, look at your existing business, look at your existing schedule, your existing work, and what could you be doing more of? Rather than switching strategies, switching tools, switching software, whatever it is. Most of us, if we're in sales, probably we could all have more conversations. And if we're in solar sales, we could probably have more referral partners. In our company, we call that ambassadors. Maybe you need just simply more volume of posts on social media. So think about your business. What could you be doing more of rather than doing something new and different? And then for the things that you're doing, what could you be doing better? Now, I mentioned a magic enchanted door-to-door script. You can always improve your scripts, your posts, your asks for a new ambassador, a new referral partner. So spend that energy rather than trying new things all the time and kind of just running around all the time to different things. And especially in our social feeds too, you kind of feel confused a lot of the time about what to do if you're just looking at reels and stories and posts, thinking that there's some new thing that's out there, some new strategy, some new tool. slow down, calm down, look at your existing business. What could you do more of, and what could you do better rather than what could you do that is new? Back to you, Jarrett and Jonathan.
Thank you for that, Tom. That is a great reminder. Yeah, shiny object syndrome. Been hearing that phrase for a long time. And yeah, you guys, it's like, focus on what you're doing currently and how can you get better. In this industry, constantly, there's tons of new ways to do everything else. You're seeing success over here, over there, but are you giving it your all to what you're currently doing? And I would venture to say, before jumping over that, you're not. So master your own craft, get good at what you're doing. And then if you want to add on to it, go for it. But even then, you might even come up against taking away from what you're really good at to try something new that's not going to produce the results. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. Love that. With that said, we're going to move on to some success stories. I'll start off. I have a success story that I'd like to share with you guys. I have a tier 1 mentee on the platform. His name is Chris Beza. He is a mortgage broker, very successful, saw the power opportunity and the ability to offer solar to his clients. He has been reaching out to his list all over the country. And he tagged me on 3 deals, one in North Carolina, one in Vegas, one in Florida. Your boy went 3 for 3, batting 1,000. And now he is already, he's going to be tier 2. He still has more projects, more leads coming in. So great job, Chris. Huge shout out there. And then my little brother, Andrew, he works for a general contractor. He has the general contractor's brother who builds ADUs. Once again, if you're in California, if you build an ADU or any building dwelling, it's required to have solar on there. So he turned me on to him. He became an ambassador. He has a client who needed to get solar just so they can get the permits through. We sold that deal as well, and that was in Oakland, California. So shout out to both you gents. Great job. Keep it going.
Nice, Jarrett. That's awesome.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks.
kicking butt right now. I'll do a quick one. I know I normally don't, but for those of you that don't know, my brother Chris Bernasso does a whole bunch for this team and a lot of people in Powur. I think he enrolled August of 21, and I think he just is going to come up on his 2-year anniversary. Well, I just want to give a shout out to him because I believe he just crossed over $700,000 of income with Powur. He's done it in under 2 years, working his effing tail off and just giving back in under 2 years. This year is going to be his highest year of income ever in his whole life. And we're just getting warmed up. We're recollecting, talking game plan and strategy. And this market's not easy right now with the interest rates and M3 and the consolidation, but we're in the right place. And whoever can hang on for the next 6 to 12 months, this rocket ship's going to keep taking off. So don't give up, keep on going. And just a major shout out to Chris for hitting that milestone. I can't wait to give him his $1 million jacket when he hits that milestone.
Right on. That $1 million jacket is coming. So
right.
Congratulations, Chris. Great job, brother. We love you, man. Okay, from one Chris to another Chris, Mr. Christopher Collier. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Hey, just huge success story. We officially launched Utah, had our first Powur Day there. I just basically flew out there, stayed a week there, prepped for that day, and said, you know what, we can override the whole state. So we had a great turnout, 12 to 15 people, mostly new folks in the room. So we brought on a new one under one of my newer reps, Jason Tippett, and he owns a very successful roofing company in Utah. And I promised him if he jumped on the call this morning that I would introduce him personally to some of the top income earners in this business. So Jarrett, Jonathan Bernasso, Tom Cotter. So Jason, come off mute and say hi to these guys. They want to meet you.
You doing, guys?
Did you
There
check
he
to
is.
make sure he's on the call?
He's on the call and he just said hello. So Jason, say hi.
How are you guys doing? This is Jason, Summit Roofing.
Hey, Jason, welcome to the family.
What's up, brother? Welcome, man. Great
Yes, sir.
job. Love the momentum. You got an incredible mentor that you're working with. Just all gas, no brakes, baby. Let's go.
I'm excited.
Welcome. Welcome, man.
What's your son's name, Jason? How old is he?
He's 4. His name's Grayson.
Adorable.
Cool, man. Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Speaking of brothers, let's go to my brother from another mother, Mr. Owen Carey. What up, sir?
How's everybody doing? I'm pretty excited that I was doing a project in Connecticut and met a guy that was sold the roof to my client prior. And when it came time for the roof, I reached out and he's like, "Oh, I'm working at Sunrun now." I was like, "Man, we need to talk." So he has joined under my team, and I can say I just love when somebody joins and they're totally coachable. You teach them something new. His name is Matthew Stringer, and I'm very excited to have him on the team. Very similar to me. He's got 3 kids. He's holding his kid right now. So if he wants to say something, he can. He probably has his camera off. But we welcome you to have your camera on, show the kid on as well too, Matt, if he wants to. Anyway, very excited about these guys.
No, I'm your own. Appreciate the shout out.
Perfect. Sweet.
Welcome, Matthew.
Welcome,
Thank you.
brother. Yeah, man. I think you're gonna like it over here. So appreciate you joining, welcoming over. So appreciate that, everybody, for sharing your success stories. We'd love to hear it every single week. I know we got a ton more, but we have an awesome training today that we're going to get to. But before that, I believe we have a few updates. Jonathan, you want to run us through these?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jared. Real quick, everyone, just a friendly reminder. I think most of you already have registered for this by now, but Jim Bunch and Powur is taking care of his Happy, Healthy, Wealthy Challenge. It's a 9-week program every Wednesday at 9 Pacific. It's on my calendar. You can watch the video from last week, get going, and for the next 8 weeks, we're going to commit to this. And Powur's sponsoring it and paying for it. Jim Bunch, one of the co-founders of Powur, he's worked with Tony Robbins and so many other amazing leaders. You definitely want to do this Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific for the next 8 weeks. So make sure to register. The link is in the chat for that. We all know that Mentor Factory, July 21st and 22nd, many of you are flying in. JC Rangel's hosting that. And after that, we have Powur World. Now, you want to listen carefully because those hotel rooms are going quick. You can go to powurconvention.com, not Powur Calendar, powurconvention.com, and you can book your ticket and book a discounted rate at the Lowe's Coronado Island in San Diego. It's a gorgeous venue, super nice hotel. I think they don't have any more ocean rooms available, just resort view rooms now. And the king rooms the beds are gonna run out quick, and then it's gonna go to doubles, guys. So trust me, book the hotel if you want to stay at the event venue ASAP, because the ocean view is already gone. I think I got one of the last ones. So make sure to do that. Powur World in San Diego. As always, lots of trainings on Powur Calendar, market development meetings. JC did a training yesterday. I actually did it on BNI and networking. Just lots of trainings and resources. And as a friendly reminder, in Southern California, even for those of you around the country that want to build into this, August 16th at 10:30 a.m. in Diamond Bar, Southern California, we're going to have a massive real estate event meant for anyone in the real estate, lending, insurance, financial services, learn to profit from solar referrals. It's going to be educational, why solar. And we're going to try to ultimately get them either to join as an ambassador, or better yet, get them to join as a consultant and earn half the commission with their Rolodex and book of business that they already have. So screenshot this if you'd like. In the next week or so, we'll be able to register. It's not live yet. And it's August 16th. Again, Southern California, Diamond Bar. You can build and invite anyone in SoCal to come to this event at a ballroom. It should be 100 to 200 people there.
Jonathan, did you just say Rolodex?
Your Rolodex, isn't that the thing that they had, the people had the phone numbers and the contact cards back in the day?
That's right. That's right.
Who can verify that for us? All right. If
Larry's
you're
waving. I think Larry has a Rolodex.
Larry, if you're newer here, Solar Master Guide, Steps to Success trainings, live trainings, daily, weekly trainings, so much more on Solar Master Guide. We always recommend this as well. With that said, we've gone a little extra long today, but that's okay. I felt it important to get another vision training from one of the top tier 3 mentors and leaders in the company. His income, because of the impact and helping homeowners and save money, is sky high. Like, he's on my tail. This guy is doing extremely well, and he's giving people amazing value. He's teaching other people, he's helping tons of homeowners. I hope he wins the summer sales contest that's going on right now, if we can get past this NEM 3 hangover and kick it into high gear. But I wanted him to show us today about Powur Vision, our proprietary vision tool. He has been on the front lines working with the development team and the programming, and a lot of money has been put into this. It's still a work in progress, and it'll ultimately give Powur the tools and resources for our own software and design tool to get even better. And I think I wanted to do this because I actually need a little bit of training and confidence on Powur Vision too. So with that, Jordan Shaw, tier 3 mentor, we'll let you take it away, sir.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm going to share my entire screen over here. I appreciate everybody jumping on. If you all have not caught my Solar Saturday training that I did on Vision, it was more of a how it's impacted my business specifically. And so if you haven't seen that, I'll go ahead and I'll drop the link at the end of this training so that we can go see it. That one's a really great one because we have Dean came on up from the Vision team to answer some other questions, the Q&A, which was really helpful as well. But what I want to do is I'm going to do kind of a condensed version of that a little bit here, but we're going to go into more of a technical deep dive on some of the features that you may not know about Vision, kind of starting out like, hey, when you first request a proposal, what does that kind of look like, to the actual like things that I've been using to help really kick it into gear. Like for when we were transitioning from NEM 2 to NEM 3, was a lot of times I wasn't in the room signing contracts or running credit and all of that. I was just automating that process. So what I want to do is just kind of, as you said, just with the, instilling the kind of confidence in that, is I've been using this product pretty exclusively for the last 6 months, except for one off, like I had to use the legacy Vision, going from Vision to Solo, just because either a mentee wasn't under an NDA, or maybe we're in a market that Vision isn't active in. So just to give you a background, Vision currently is in California, Texas, and Florida. The team is telling me somewhere in the July timeframe is when they're anticipating to open it up to the rest of the markets. So that's something that you can look forward to. One of the things that I always talk to Matt about is, I'm constantly trying to improve the overall, the overall presentation, right, with Vision, and just kind of get a better handle on all the dynamics on it. And one of the things he said to me the other day was, you know what, this is going to become the de facto tool. So if there's anything that you want to see prior to this going really live, I mean, it's live right now, but let's say it's still almost like in a beta stage in some aspects, even though it's been opened up to more general release, it's not available for everybody. Let's say GA is open to all markets, right? You're going to have to learn how to use it one way or another. It's better to not have solo flicked off on you and then all of a sudden you have to transition and frantically train up on it, right? So if there's anything that you want to see Vision do that it doesn't do currently that I haven't hit on, maybe just ask me some questions on that. Basically send me the feedback on that so I can get that back to the team, because they'd rather know exactly kind of what the wish list is, what's preventing you from utilizing it versus just all of a sudden you have to make this hard transition, you know, immediately because they've kind of moved everything in-house. The benefit for having Vision in-house is the fact that we have different aspects to this tool. Okay, it's any changes that need to be made to it can be made by our development team versus having to wait on Solo's timeline. Okay, so that's a really big benefit to you, because that means if you really do want to see something happen, like one of the first things I wanted to ask, for example, like that I wanted to see in the tool, the first email that I sent was, where on earth is my Powur Care slide? Like, where's the information on that? And that was like the first one I sent, like, hey, just some little bit of feedback. I literally sent a really long email about like, hey, this is what I want to see, like, but where is Powur Care? And they incorporated that. Now, both Jarrett, Tom, myself, and others have been on the beta side when it was first, you know, starting to get, you know, get kind of ramped up. But, you know, what it looked like 6 months, and the guys can just attest to this too, and even Cynthia can attest to this. It looks very different than what it did in its very early stages, right? And so I can guarantee you I've run into bugs myself, and you know, it's software, we're all going to run into them, right? But the benefit of Vision really is you have an all-in-one presentation tool, okay? Everything is integrated into that. And so you don't have to reference secondary slides as much and slide decks unless you want to. Like, I'll still go to reference like impact journey trips, things like that, right? To stuff that's like, hey, have you ever heard about, you know, Powur being a certified B? I mean, do you know what that means? Like certified B Corp, right? I ask that question. And if they say no, then I do a quick jump over and I just show them kind of what that means. And so you can still do that stuff, but it's nice to be able to have Powur messaging and a Powur story right straight inside Vision. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to hit on the integrated features that I had a chance to kind of bullet point when I was on stage, but I didn't have there wasn't really a technical walkthrough with it. So let's kind of start out with that. Okay. One of the best things about Vision right now is we have dynamic homeowner contact updates. How many times have we really needed to jump into the back end for Solo or open up a ticket, right? And say, customer wants to change the name, or the name was fat fingered wrong, you know, whatever the issue is, and you have to wait to get an update both on the back, like on contracts in addition to the actual tool. And the nice thing about Vision is we now can make changes within the back end here within Powur.com. And so if you go to your site info, your summary, right, you can make these changes. So for example, let's say I have, and I'm going to jump in here. Like, let's say I've got Kevin here and his wife is a Rose. So this is like an older project. Okay. And I want to save the updates, or, well, you know what? I just messed up because I cleared the email, but there we go. So if I go ahead and I want to say, well, it's actually Rose. Okay. I want to hit save. Well, here's what happens. Once I hit save and I go back over to, here it is, here's his house over here in Vision. So I have already opened this up, and I'm going to show you how to kind of start from the beginning and go through. But if I hit refresh, guess what? All of a sudden Rose appears. So the benefit here is if you get through the entire presentation, they're like, no, I really want to run credit in the spouse, you can change that dynamically. And this is something that we just kind of hit. I was like, hey, when is that coming? When is that coming? You know, because it was always happening. Like, I need a name change. I need a name change. And they were actually able to accomplish that. Okay. There's other aspects such as Powur Care being integrated and things like that. So let me kind of get into kind of the depths of this, of the tool. When you're in the back end on Powur.com and you have a lead that you need to submit, you still go through the normal site info, filling it all out. This was one actually just yesterday up in RPU. I didn't think I was going to be doing one of those again, but here I am. So we have one in RPU, and then I've already gone to the proposals tab here, and I've already requested a proposal. It's still over here. Okay, so right where you see Solo would be, right above it is Vision. So if you actually are more of a super user, as we like to call it, you're part of the beta program, which they don't really have this available much right now. but you might have two other options here. The one that you really just need to focus on is really either create a proposal real-time specifically. That's that one. So we have Vision, Vision overnight. So these two options here is real-time and Vision. Those are the ones where it's automated with the design team. The Vision itself here is like if I wanted to create it myself personally, because they've given me the access to do that. So you shouldn't actually see that. You'll see these first two options. Okay. So if you're like, okay, how quickly is the Vision team going to get around to doing this proposal? I usually have them back within the hour. The team, especially since we've kind of come down off of the NEM 2 to NEM 3 push, they have cycles right now. So you should be able to get them back really quickly. And especially if you have to do a design change, which I had to do in mid-flight with Lewis here. We were in the middle of proposal and he goes, that's not my house. Google brought up the wrong house. So I'm like, great, I got to go ahead and I need to switch that dynamically. Well, I went ahead and I requested a proposal update, which was actually completed mid-flight when we were actually talking, which was cool. So I was able to get him an updated proposal out the door just yesterday.
Quick question on that.
Go.
Will other people eventually be given the tool to create their own, or is the thought that we'll have to request it?
You know, so I've gone back on that, and they have a design team they want to utilize. I think it's from a scalability perspective, they want the newest person to be able just to create. But I think for pros, it's something that they want to open up. I've already made that request for my installer, for example, who wants to sell through Powur. I said, well, they have access to do this and they do this all day long. This makes sense for them to both have access to the team and be able to design one-offs. So I think that'll be kind of a case-by-case basis. I think they're pushing back on that just because it doesn't scale, but I totally get what you're thinking. It's like, okay, well, if I'm sitting there 15 minutes before a presentation and something needs to be changed, I'd rather change it myself versus have to wait for the team to come around and make that modification, right?
Maybe a special certification or something like that. And then someone did ask that when you do request proposals like that, does it use credits? Do you know?
It doesn't use credits. That was part of the benefit of doing it in-house, was the fact that we're not getting charged for it. So like, I think my credits are, I've looked the other day, they were in excess of like 700, I think, something crazy, because I haven't really been using credits at all. So I don't believe there's any credits that get count towards it. That was one of the selling points, unless they made a change to that.
Great, thank you.
Yep. So you'll request a real-time or an overnight proposal. It's a little grayed out here just because I've already done this already. But once it's complete, you'll actually have this email that's very familiar that comes to your inbox that says, hey, the proposal for this individual, for Lewis, is actually complete. So we do have that. You're still going to get those types of notifications. Once you open it up, you're basically going to be presented with, obviously, a max fit design. Now, this one was done in partnership with a mentee. So one of the nice things that they're doing now is you have the presenter and then you have the in partnership with. If you're under enterprise, and jumping back to the training here, in terms of the co-branding side of things, okay, if you have enterprise, you're actually able to upload your logo into here. So if it's something that you want to have is you're running a lot of volume with your clients, you want to act almost like a master dealer type of arrangement, whatever that might be, you can actually put your actual logo in there. And so that way the client's saying, oh, okay, you have a really awesome proposal tool with your logo. I like having this in partnership with, but I love the fact that the actual mentee is now listed on that too. So that way, if you're a real estate agent or or some other like HVAC or roofer, whatever it might be, and you need to just say, hey, like, yeah, this is our partner, right? This is our expert that's going through this presentation with you. It gives a little bit more, I think, clout to it as well, just because it's kind of like both parties are actually represented. So once you scroll down, let me go ahead and kind of show you kind of the aspects of this. One of the nice things about when I mentioned story is the fact that we have this right here for the Certified B Corp. Okay, so I can go through and I can use the title slide and start talking about myself, number of projects that I've helped last year alone, or whatever your story that you want to, like, hey, how long have you been in solar? You can start there and then come down. Let me tell you a little bit about Powur. And then you can reference the Inc. 43 status, right? We can reference the fact that we work with Prosperity Homes for give back through the B Corp. And then that's where I kind of will jump over to another reference of like pictures for like the latest home build or something like that. So I like the idea that you can actually send this to a client, and if you can't get on the phone with them for whatever reason, like they just can't sit down, it's one of those, you could just PDF this and send it, and it tells Powur's story, and it doesn't look like anything else. Okay. But if you're the newest person trying to navigate through this as well, this gives you kind of a template to kind of try to follow through, because the next follow-up slide is, how does solar actually work? Now, I traditionally will bypass this just because things have kind of changed a little bit. And by the time let's be honest, most of our homeowners, especially in California, either they've had a few proposals, or I mean, a lot of times they're like, yeah, I'm either versed or I'm not. They have no idea how it works. So you can still reference it, but then kind of jump down to the actual design itself. So this gives you kind of some flexibility, and this is going to be updated to more be animated into the future on showing kind of like what happens at night versus during the day, batteries being in play, things of that nature.
Did the toggles work on the B Corp or the
It does. I think they hadn't updated it with 2020. Well, they hadn't updated it yet with 2022 numbers though, because it says 2022, but it said 8,700. I thought that was incorrect. I should tell them about that.
Okay, so there's a few other items there that you can toggle through. Very cool.
Yep. So I think it was the old numbers. I usually don't do that. I'll just kind of leave it here and kind of move on, just so it gives you the option which one you want to kind of focus on. To me, the most important aspect is focusing on our status as a certified B Corp, but as well as partnerships and the Inc. rating. And then I just kind of list the fact that we've done 11,000 installs, things like that. That's stuff that I just have off the top of my head. I'm sure you do as well. So yeah. Yep. So you do have different options that you can click through, explaining different aspects of how solar works for this as well. And then as well as storage. Once you get the design back though, it's going to basically be max fit. So if you haven't designed it yourself, that's okay. You're still going to be able to toggle things on and off depending on what's available. Okay. So in this case, I've actually kind of fitted it based on what I think would actually be workable as in addition to the team. It's kind of a losing proposition between these trees here. I might be able to fit a few more panels here. It's kind of like chances of it getting some sun, some shade is going to be kind of no matter what we do here, especially with some of the panels over here. But the idea here is you can just hit edit and you'll have this panel activation with the ability to toggle transparency. One of the things that I've heard about people like hesitant about using Vision is they're using Sonova a lot. So they need to know different install planes, the number of panels and the shading and all of that and the production numbers. On the right-hand side, there's actually install areas. And if you go to install area like that actually has panels, you notice the only ones that have panels are the ones that you can toggle on and off. Okay. You can actually select this little, I don't know if you can see that there, but it's right near the trash can. It actually selects each of the actual panel planes. So you know exactly which one actually you're looking at, what the azimuth is, what the slope is, what the actual shading actually is for that as well. Okay. Nice. So you can pull those numbers. At the bottom, you'll have the panel counts, 19 are active out of 22. System size is 7.6 kW. You got your annual consumption versus annual production and total offset. So that dynamically will update depending on, so if I hit save, for example, that'll actually run through and actually update itself automatically. So you'll see that it'll process 115. So, okay. All right. So on the left-hand side, you'll have your system size, you'll have the energy offset, you'll have all the stuff you're used to seeing, okay? So you've been doing this a long time already, chances are. So the idea here is the fact that you can actually select the different types of panels that you want. Just like Jarrett, I was very bummed when it came to the fact Longies were pulled off and I had this one in RPU where I really could have used a cheaper panel, but what are you gonna do? But the idea here is the fact that you can actually select the panel, you can select the inverter, you can select kind of these options right here. When you select the panel, you can have the drop down. It's a quick shortcut to be able to make these changes dynamically. Let's say for the inverter, it reset from energy hub. Let's say I want to keep it an energy hub, hit save, right? And then that updates the actual proposal with that. You'll see that the proposal also actually has the no backup as well as backup options actually listed on the proposal. Okay, on the design. So when you're talking about that option with the client, there's no confusion about, well, does this have backup or not? We just flat out say it. So the way in which I've been actually conversing and talking to clients about this is I talk about basically self-consumption versus backup. That's how I basically frame it. And I say we have a protective bubble under self-consumption, but it's the cheapest option you get with battery storage, which sole purpose is to do just save you money. If you have a lot of outages during the year, you might want to consider doing backup. Is usually 5 to 6K more. That's usually how I reference it. And what I've done there is I've taken the option of not having battery off the table. I've basically said to them, here's these two options. So I gave them a win-win situation. Okay. All right. With that, one of the other things that I want to talk about is basically we have the dynamic product slides. Okay. This is actually going to update as we continue with the tool. But if I scroll down here, you'll see you have your system production estimate. You can go in here and select each of these and update them. We are going to be able to modify the utility rate at some point in the near future, is what they've told me. So I went through and I updated obviously just a month because we're Riverside Public Utility. We can go up to 150% now, but it's kind of a losing proposition because they basically have an M3 now. But what you'll see here is this guy right here, right? So you've got this 30-year warranty, right? This Powur Care slide. If you're doing a ground mount, for example, and you do not want to have that, all you have to do is go to the pricing, outer selection. You basically toggle this off and hit save. Let's say you just want to do a Solar Edge 25-year warranty. I hit save, and all of a sudden that slide has completely disappeared. Okay. When that actually happens, okay, so that way it saves you a little bit of real estate, but also you don't have to talk about it. The reason they did that was we kind of went back and forth was just because of that, what I described. If you have a ground mount, is there really reason to have the Powur Care warranty? Probably not, unless you just really want to differentiate yourself from the competition. But it saves you obviously 7 to 10 cents per watt, which in a ground mount situation could, make it or break it for you. Okay. So there's different options there that we're going to have in the tool to actually also have products, is from what I've understood as well. So when we have a span panel, for example, that may pop in, or the actual battery, like maybe have some actual slides for that. They're kind of trying to tweak it so there's not too much, but just enough to make it interesting. Okay. I think in solar right now, you do have a battery layout, like it shows the actual graphics. So I think they're going to be doing something similar to that. Okay. One of the other things that you needed to really know about is the customer facing with the facing links that actually have financing. Before we could send a PDF to the homeowner, or we could send a shareable link, but it would most often load, but there wasn't really anything you could do with it. With the customer facing links, what you're able to do is go to the actual share button here, hit share, and actually publish the shareable link. So for example, I'm probably gonna have to cancel my share here, and I'll do this again. But let's say I want to go to Goodleap, I don't know, for whatever reason, do a 25-year 4.99. Let's just say we're doing that for whatever reason. Okay. And then I want to hit qualify for this client. So this is going to update maybe while I'm live. There we go. So it's going to update. It's going to give us the normal stuff that we're normally used to seeing. Let's say the customer goes, yeah, I think I want to do that, but you've already jumped off line with the customer. Okay. And you want to run qualified credit. Usually you'd have to jump on the phone and qualify, or jump on another Zoom, right? Well, with this button will actually load dynamically. If I want to share this with the customer, let's go to share, and I want to publish it. It's going to go ahead and create a actual link. And let me go ahead, and I'm gonna have to unshare and then reshare, because I'm going to do this in a new browser window that's incognito. So give me one moment. But what I want to show you here is, so let's say this is the customer facing link. What's happened is they have all the benefits. They can still click through. They can do what they want to do there. Okay. They can see what it's about. They can't make any edit decisions. Okay. They can't make anything. They can't do any of that. Okay. It's all locked down, literally. Okay. But when I come down, and they can still, do this, they can still, which I didn't show you that before, but they can crank this up, kind of see exactly what their utility bill is going to be in 15 years, right? It's just maximum, right? They can do all of that. All right. But they say, yep, I want to do this. They can actually hit qualify and run their own credit. Like I said, when I was running deal after deal on the rush, most of the time my clients were running their own credit. I was not even on the phone with them. I was just leveraging this. I found this, and I just cranked that dial to 10. I was like, this is great. I said, either we have a couple different options. Either hop on the phone, you can text me your info, or else how about this? I'll just send you the link. You can run your credit within the app. And they always, more often than not, chose that option. And then I got notified when they ran that credit. How great is that?
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I actually, I told somebody, senior management at Powur, that, and they said, wait, what? You can do that? But yeah. It's like, you just give me, that's the thing. I've been in IT a long time. So I was used to testing these types of things on a product that should have been GA. And so I will find it if it's there to be found. Anyway, like I said, this is a really neat option that we made. We were trying to kind of figure this out, and between all the conversations that we had back and forth with the team, design team, related to just kind of mock-ups on how do we get that perfect, balance. So you'll notice, like in Solo, this is more of like a graph, right? It's got that, it's simplicity. The trick is you can't just duplicate that without saying that's completely ripped off from them as well. So what we've done here is we've kind of gotten something that's kind of like a, I guess, kind of like a throttle or a like speedometer, right? Like an analog speedometer, right? And you kind of can see like kind of cranking this up, right? In terms of just, you want to show them what the pain is going to be. So you can still give them that pain point right here within this, all right? Which is really, I think it's really, really neat. And we still give you the cost per kilowatt hour averages and stuff like that in here as well. Okay. The other thing that I like is smaller PDF exports. How many times have you done 2 or 3 different like versions of a PDF? And I tried to get out of that habit too. I'd rather just give them the one that I want them to really pivot towards, and then maybe give them a couple different options in text on exactly what the cost is and the financing, right? Actually within an email. But as well as I do, we've all sent 2 or 3 different PDF exports of out of Solo, and they're like 4 megabytes each. The nice thing with Vision is it's about 800 to a megabyte, kilobytes to a megabyte in terms of size. So it's a lot smaller of an export, which I find I feel like it's great, because then if I add any additional attachments, I don't have to wonder if their inbox is getting full. Like, am I going to be the email that pushes them over the edge? Is their spam blocker gonna nab it because it's too big? Things like that. So that's something else that I actually like. So in order to just export something like that, you just go to export PDF. So, and then what that'll do is that'll bring up a different screen. You'll let it load for a second, and then you can download it. And what's nice is it's no longer, I don't even remember what it was out of Solo. Who remembers what was the proposal generic name? Do you remember?
What do you mean?
Well, when you download one,
it was always, yeah. When you download the PDF, it's like just a bunch of numbers and digits, and it's really long and annoying.
Yeah, so
you'd always have to go back and like custom edit it, what it is.
You should
Otherwise,
rename
you can't
it.
just upload it. Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know what that was going to be. Well, the nice thing here is you can make the choice if you want to rename it, or just leave it custom savings report 4, and then it has the date on it. So if you want it, if that's what you sold, like, because I was guilty of that too. I just would download this, like, especially the heat stuff. I'm like, I don't have the time. I'm not renaming it. I just download it and I just upload it. Normally I rename it with the system size and all of that. Like, I try to like orderly do it. But what's nice is you're not just including like proposal 1, 2, 3, 4, like whatever the naming convention was on that one. This one at least gives you something a little bit more professional in its output. So little things like that. And it looks pretty good too. They were working on, at some point they were like clipping a little bit. I think we got rid of that, which is actually good. Yeah, it looks good here. Good cash flow. Yeah, it exports it pretty nice.
Is there also a dynamic link? Sorry if you said it already, but like that could be shared as well to the homeowner?
Yeah. So that's what I just brought up, the share.
Oh, perfect.
That was it. Yeah. So that's why yep. So I went ahead and I just brought up like it as if it was an incognito mode. So that right there is dynamic to the homeowner. So I will send that. Now, I try not to send that link because it's really ugly. I try to make a hyperlink, right? And I just say, hey, viewable here, like I just in caps, right? Otherwise it's like And if you're sending it over Facebook Messenger, that's the worst because it's a really long something that's really long, but it works. So what I've also done is if you have a technical issue with them jumping into a meeting, I've done this where I've emailed them the link so that, or maybe a PDF version. And if they want to make a change, they can actually see it live if you're doing the actual live link. So as you update it, they're actually seeing it. It dynamically updates on their end as well.
Is that the same link that they can run the credit on, or is that a separate one?
It's the same one. It's the same one. Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yep. So, and then we also, obviously I already hit on that. We have the self-consumption and the backup options. If in order to enable those, so you see no backup, just on the left-hand side here, so you'll actually see this, we've got home utility info, homeowner information. So you can also make changes here if you need to, energy consumption, all of that, your equipment selection, modules, mounting. Be careful on that one. I've already made the comment on that. This was for the designer. Okay. They're going to basically be getting, I think they're going to be getting rid of this just because you can kind of see that it's either ground or not. This does not, if you hit ground mount, that does not do the ground mount adder. Be careful on that. I've made that mistake once. Inverter selection, storage. So under storage, that's where you select backup or non-backup. And what shows here, it depends on the actual inverter inverter brand that you've selected. So if you select Enphase, you're going to see all the Enphase like 3, 6, 10, all of those incremental steps in that, or you can see the inverter, you're right, in the storage selection for the backup and the non-backup. So what you'll see is under pricing and adders, okay, like I said, I enable, like, let's say Powur Care, right? And I want to save that. But under the system pricing, this is where you'll actually see your no backup, right? And you'll see exactly how much the battery is. Now, something that somebody's asked me is like, okay, that seems like the pricing is slightly off from Solo. The reason for that is you're seeing a line item cost. The sales tax is here. So the sales tax is what the battery costs are, or that's why the battery cost would be slightly off. Okay, is you'll see that option here. Okay, so just because you see the line item as being slightly less than 8K, the sales tax goes into that as well. So if you're looking at Solo and it says, oh, this looks like it's about $1,000 higher, the reason for that is because of sales tax. The nice thing about Vision is that it integrates on the back end for all the inventory and stuff. So like when they turned off and pulled Longies, that was immediate, right? We weren't waiting for when they wanted to do it, on Solo, but they pulled those pretty quickly. If there's any pricing updates, that happens here as well. So you have less risk of having a 0 line item in terms of your modules or your inverters. You should always obviously check it, but you have less of an issue having that happen for sure. Okay. All right. That's kind of really what I really wanted to hit on related to some of the deeper stuff with this. Is there something that I'm going to open it up on chat or Q&A if we want to go ahead and kind of ask those questions, stuff you want to specifically see. So I know we have,
I'll go through the chat real quickly. And if someone wants to type questions in, type it in, or feel free to raise your hand. And just big thank you, Jordan, for all your knowledge and sharing this with us. Stacy asked earlier about Franklin batteries, and I went ahead and reached out to Matt Gordon, and it's looking like Franklin batteries will be added hopefully in the next few business days. So, worst case next week, but that's the Franklin batteries. Let me keep going down here.
Yeah, that was going through QA.
Let's go circle back with Matt Gordon. We will share this chat with Matt Gordon and this recording. He actually asked me for it so that he can see the questions and get feedback as well. So let's circle back if Vision will charge credits when a designer designs it. My guess is possibly so once we come out of the beta pilot. Let's see.
I can see that, yeah.
Someone asked if the partner branding is available also with the Powur Pro, not just Enterprise. I'm not sure.
I haven't found it because Matt told me the other day that went live. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, but if you're Enterprise, you can do that. So it's specifically targeted to Enterprise. Larry, You got something?
Hey, Jordan. Yeah, I'm kind of a little hazy, and I saw what you did, but I think it's two questions. So
Mhm.
when you design this, it just like you can see it start populating right away when you request one, but it takes a little bit for them to do a max fit because it takes about an hour, right? Does
Yeah,
that sound about
correct. So when you come, sometimes sooner, like I've had 15, 20 minutes. It really
Okay.
It's
depends on.
usually within like 15, 20 in my experience, rarely a half hour. I haven't
Okay.
seen an hour.
Yeah, we definitely
Okay.
have that. Like you'll have, once they're complete, you'll get that email. But what'll happen is when you go to do a new like proposal, what I've seen is it'll go, and if I go through, I should pull one up, one that I have to do. I don't mind burning. But you'll
the
go.
second? Yeah, the second part is, I mean, just so I don't make this redundant for some people, what's the second part of how you actually, I saw how you did it, but I kind of missed it. So for example, if you could go in and show how to max fit once, or trim down the panels once it's been max fitted.
Yeah,
Could
sure.
you show that again?
Yeah, I can show you that. That's for sure.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. I'm sure
Yeah.
a few people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll do that let's do it with a different proposal. Well, actually, no, that one was max fit. Yeah, so for this one, for example, this one I didn't design it myself. I had the team do it. So what you'll notice is you'll have basically multiple planes here that actually have panels when you come in. So if I hit save and I go back, okay,
So
so let me show you. Yeah, I'll show you.
What did
So
you hit to get? What did you hit to get there, though? I mean,
right. So
just-
right here. So when you scroll down to the design, okay, and there's other ways to get down to the design as well, but you can hit just edit design. And what you'll see here is panel activation. What won't be available is panel placement and these other attributes unless you're an editor. Okay. But so what you've got here is these different panel layouts. So just panel activation, just like you're used to, just select off. So you can pan, or you can press the space bar, by the way, and pan. Okay, the little tricks there. You can also select, like drag and select, if you're doing panel activation, panels on and off. So it just kind of, so if you have an entire plane, you're like, I really don't want them there, or I really need them there, you can click and drag it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then when you hit save, it dynamically updates on the bottom, so you don't have to jump out to know exactly what your offset is. You actually will see it right there. So you're like, yep, wait, no, I got to add one more panel.
Yeah, I can't see that because of my toolbar, but I can imagine how.
Oh, you need me to
scroll up a little bit?
I can zoom. Well, it's static. Hang on. Is that better?
No, there you go. Now I can
Okay.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can zoom out, and then you got that panel there. One of the other things is you can, let me make that bigger, is this right here. You can actually move this slightly and zoom in and out. So if you want to make sure the focus is on their house, you can actually move that as well.
Awesome.
So I got a question. Yeah, go for it.
Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say, obviously not everybody has the ability to edit the panels, adding them if they're not already on the proposal. I personally think that's one of the huge benefits of this tool. Have you spoken with Matt about what it would take, the requirements to give the ability for reps to be able to do that? Maybe a certification? Are they going to give everyone the ability to do that?
Well, I think that like installers that are onboarded that are going to be selling and installing should have that ability. I do think that should be a quick certificate, like an extended certification on how to do it yourself, for sure. And then pros, like maybe pro and up again, like where it would make sense. I think that would make sense as long as there's design. I mean, not everybody's going to want to do that, but like you said, anybody that really wants to should have that ability to have that capability to make those changes. So because you can always go back and go, well, that's done. Like once you do that though, you can't request to get them to do it though, unless you send a Vision support email.
One just shout out there, and so you all know the little liability is when reps misuse it or report no shade or the tree's gonna be cut down or shove more panels in. It can be a liability later with compliance. If Powur has to go back and add more panels because of what was promised, they will claw back that money. So please do not manipulate design tools when they're shading, when that's not the case, because compliance could definitely come back on. So just a little public disclaimer there.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
And that's why I do believe that maybe a certification, a
Correct.
certain tiered level, right? I mean, just a brand new rep coming in doing that might not make sense, but that was one of the huge benefits. I mean, you and I were going back and forth during the NEM2 surge. This thing saved our butts, right? I mean, we, doing 4 or 5 appointments in a day, quickly on the fly, being able to adjust it right before an appointment, not having to send out for a revision with Solo. So that's a huge feature. Now, one feature that I've noticed recently that they've taken away, but I don't know when they're going to enter it back in, is the price per kilowatt hour that the customer's paying. That's been grayed out.
Yeah, that one's been grayed out. They can still go. Yeah, they're supposed to be bringing that back. There was a bug on SoCal Edison where only the pre-solar was only domestic. So that was on QA. That should have been fixed yesterday. I noticed it early yesterday, but I think it was later. I called Matt on it about it, saying when it was going to be fixed. But right there, I would have been able to change it. So if I don't know if I was sent out contracts and it was slightly off, it wasn't off by a lot because the domestic to the time of use rate is fairly close together. But I like being able to modify that rate, especially when they have like a climate credit on the bill and you're like, well, that only happens once or whenever. It always skews the actual true price per kilowatt hour.
Or especially, or if they're on a care program or something like that, it might show a lot higher than it is. So
yeah, exactly. Little things like that. Ramsey asked in the chat how you actually do multiple batteries. So check this out. So you've got a battery. I got one right here. So I know because that was a deal breaker. You go to storage selection, especially in Florida. Why would you do one battery, right? Just go to your storage selection, 10 kilowatt hour, 20, 30, and then non-backup, right? 10, 20, 30, 40. I don't think I'll ever see you probably not do a non-backup in Florida, right? But you can do that. And then if you change the inverter selection, let me do this because this gets a little wonky when I have storage selected. Hang on. Matt's listening to recording. I said wonky. Yes, I did. So if I go to go back to equipment, storage. Now the drop down, there we go, it worked. It worked on camera. So 3, 6, 10, 13, 16, like incrementals. I almost did one of these the other day at 6 because I had like 6 panels this guy needed. Couldn't believe it.
Jordan, Owen asked if the home improvement contract, which is HIC, does that include the roof addendum now?
It should.
Okay.
I haven't sent any recent roofs though out a couple months ago. I know it didn't. It should. If it doesn't, send. The best thing that you can do is if it does not have the addendum on the front end, is to send like a support email to like Vision Support, because that's included on here, like visionsupport@powur.com. You could send an email over to them with the project ID and say roofing addendum needs to be added. And they should be able to slipstream and add that into the DocuSign. So even if you sign the DocuSign on your side, don't finish it because don't do any signatures because they can actually, while it's live, add things into the packet before you sign it and it gets sent. So I've had that happen from time to time where you needed something else edited or we needed to get rid of something, like it didn't make sense that it was in there. I'm trying to remember what it specifically was, but it was just like a weird thing. It's like, why is that in there? Like, we don't need that. It does in fact include though. So like the DocuSign, let me pull that up real quick.
You said if we need to add into the DocuSign, reach out to support, the Vision support or sales support, or
I think Vision Support. It's Vision Support on any of those type of things. Vision Support@powur.com.
Okay.
I think that's going to the same place now. I could be wrong, but that's the one that comes out when you have a proposal completed.
Right.
Email.
And guys, I know it's only in 3 states right now, but we should hopefully hear an announcement at the July 12th masterclass when Vision will be rolled out to the rest of the country. And then the Franklin battery should be on within a week as well. So this is very important stuff. Jordan, I'm just going to go ahead and end this recording now. We'll stick around for a bit, but just a big thank you to an amazing tier 3 mentor guys, Jordan Shaw. If you want to just say thank you in the chat, give it up for him. He's in Southern California and one of the experts with Vision and batteries and expansion systems and so much more. So thank you much.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, you can always email jordan.shaw@powur.com. He answers them around. Just joking. Just joking. No, hey, thank you so much. Really super appreciate you, brother, coming on here and showing everybody. And quick reminder, if you haven't already, take your Vision certifications in the back office, because like Jonathan said, this is going to get rolled out to the country live. And at some point, solo's going away, because why would we continue to pay for a proposal tool when we have our own superior one? So appreciate you, brother.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to hang out here for an office hour Q&A for 15-20 minutes, and I'll stop the recording.